Hey casters, reloaders, what's up? Today we're going to be doing a little bit more testing and some LD load development with the paper patch bullets again. I've actually changed two variables, one of them being the powder. I actually been messing with Superformance off camera with some of my 208 grain ELDs, trying to see about working a load up and getting a sub MOA group. And using that powder, I was only able to get just over 2-inch group at 100 yards, which isn't much better than my paper patch bullet groups that I showed you guys in the last video. So I switched up my powder. I went over to Reloader 17. We're going to be doing some load development with this, comparing the groups. 3-shot groups, of course. I started out with 44 grains, in 3-shot increments, all the way up to 48 grains. So that's that. I also did change the way I rolled my paper. I showed you guys before, how I rolled my paper. I put the paper on the leading edge and rolled it up. What I done differently was I switched it this way. Still leading edge, I still roll the paper up. What that does, basically, here is how I originally rolled it. You can see the leading edge of that paper on top, being all the way to the top, and then a different technique is you can see that it's going down. This is still a counterclockwise style twist, even though it looks backwards. It basically engages my rifling and tightens up on itself. This may help keep the paper wad intact a lot better, so I'm gonna try that out today. Other than that, let's check it out. Let's get to the range. Let's do some load development and see if these paper patch bullets work. Alright guys, see you out there. Alright, here's a picture of the range. Got my trusty helper with me today. And again, we're at 50 yards, so we'll see what's up. Alright, get you pointed down range. Alright, so the first groups I'll be shooting is 43.5 grains of Reloader 17. Same bullet, 230 grain Lee cast bullet. And we'll see if those group. And then I made some different bullets today, little stubbies. These are the Lee 150 flat point design, or flat nose. These are gas checked and they have loop grooves, so they look kind of funky, but we'll see if these perform. These are loaded up with Varget, and Varget's always been giving me a pretty good group in all my guns, so we'll see what's up today. Alright guys, I'll get you pointed down range. I'll see if I can film and have my Corona still plugged in. Alright, that was 43.5 grains, and I don't know, the third shot kind of looked like it had a flyer right there, but the other two seem alright. So not sure what's going on. Maybe the paper's sticking, but anyways, that's two close shots right there. Let me cover this up and we'll go to 44 grains. Alright, 44 grains, keyholing. Really weird. Yesterday I wasn't doing that, so I don't know. Alright, let's just continue on. Alright, so this is what's confusing me. Yesterday I was doing the same thing. So I went from 44 grains and I jumped up to 46.5, and you can see that there's no more keyholing, and I'm starting to retighten back up. Really weird. So alright, let's continue on. Alright, back to being sporadic. More keyholing. Horrible group. Alright, I'll see if the upper end I still got like 3 grains to work with, so I'm gonna shoot the next groups and see what happens. Alright, still not a good group, but I'm up there at 2350 FPS and some pretty good standard deviation numbers. This one's a little bit keyholed, a little bit keyholed, a little bit keyholed. So it's kind of weird how these bullets are performing. Like Reloader 762 kind of gave me a theory about RPM and stability, so we'll talk about that later on. But I got a little bit more loads to do. I'm gonna do maybe 3 more shots of the 230 grains, and then we'll work with a 150 grain bullet, and I'll tell you guys why. Basically, the reason why I chose the 150 grain bullet is more of a bore rider. I think the Lee 230 grain kind of had, you know, from what people are saying, is kind of a bad design. The driving area of the bullet sits further back, so the nose is kind of free hanging. Though I am jamming it into the lands, it should be helping out with the stability, but then, you know, it is paper patch and it has to unravel at the muzzle, so that could be causing it to deviate its course a little bit. But let's see if I can push these a little further, a little harder. I'm still not getting any leading, so that's a good plus with the paper patch, and I'm up there in velocity. But let's continue on. Alright, not getting much velocity, and the groups are just getting worse, so let's try out some 150 grain bullets with Varget, and let's see if that bolt design will stabilize better with these paper patches. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, last shot I actually pulled, but I think I only pulled it about half an inch to an inch, so I should have been over here. But you can see the stability of the bullet is still looking good, punching really clean holes. Alright folks, so this looks like it gave me a pretty good group, and we're just under 2900 FPS on a cast lead bullet. One thing I do want to point out is pretty much all of the groupings right here are from that same bullet and Varget load, so that looks to be a pretty viable load. I have a lot of room to play with Varget. I could go up a lot more, and I might be able to push a cast lead bullet without leading over 3000 FPS. Really phenomenal. Other than that, we could get back to the bench. Let's talk about these groups and some things that I think may be going on with that bullet. Other than that, you know, paper patching, this is the results I'm getting so far. I think this is a viable way of pushing a homemade gas checked cast bullet at some extreme velocities that aren't really talked about, you know, with this new powder coating craze. And like I said, we're at 50 yards today, so I'll work with that load, and we'll continue developing that bullet, and I might order something else from NOE. Anyways, let's bring this target back, let's talk about it, and let's get some get some input from you guys. All right, be right back. So Varget pulls it through again. I think that's going to be my favorite powder choice so far. It's pretty much giving me pretty good loads on almost all my rifle cartridges, except for 300 Blackout, which I've never tried yet, and I wouldn't be surprised if that did work. But yep, like I said, these groups are all from the 150 grain flat point bullet, stubby, paper patch, and we're doing pretty good. I got a lot of room to work up with. I got 3 more grains to go up, which I could play around with. And after that, I could try some Reloader 17 or some IMR 4064 to get even the higher velocities, according to the manual. But like I was talking about, the bullets were keyholing. These groups here were keyholing, which were doing the exact same thing as my yesterday's shot. So these are my yesterday's shots. First shots were this week. These were actually the 44 grains, which gave me a pretty good group. I was actually at 65 yards. These were the second shots, and then the third, you can see where it started keyholing, opening up. And the fourth group, same thing. It just gets worse, as I went up. And then the sixth group, I started getting back into stability. So Reloader 762 made a good comment on my Slack channel about velocity and RPM, slower twist rate. Going over my uncle's notebook, he preferred a 1 in 12 twist for the 30-06, and he was using a 2-groove or 3-groove rifled barrel, something that I think I got to get custom made. I don't really see a lot of people talking about it, but they seem to work with the paper patch bullets a lot better, according to him. So, maybe a slower twist rate barrel might help get my velocities up, as Reloader 762 said. With it being in the lower category of 150 grain to 178 grain bullet. But like I said, I got a lot of room to work with. I'm not getting any leading with the paper patch bullets, and they're working pretty good. So I can't really say too many details of how I made these, other than I'll put a link in the description below on my DTube channel, and it'll pretty much go into detail about that. But these are pretty cool looking bullets. Flat points, they're punching pretty good holes. I probably will be getting another mold from NOE, probably in the 172 range, and more of a spiral point design, gas checked. I think these gas check bullets are working pretty good. But other than that, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for sticking through and seeing my results. Let me know below, comment below what you think, and if you have any suggestions on a different bullet mold. Other than that, guys, stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.